All right, career politicians and rogue judges. What to do about them? I'm suggesting term limits for the Congress and performance accountability for the judges. If you look at the three branches of government, the executive branch has two systems of accountability: to the voters and then to the legislative branch through the impeachment process. Now, if you look at the legislative branch, on paper, there are two systems of accountability: to the voters, and then Congress can actually vote to remove a member. It takes a 2/3 vote to do it. They just don't. You know, you'll have members quit and everything to avoid that, but typically it would be tough to get 2/3 unless this guy or gal really did something bad. So for all intents and purposes, there's only one system of accountability: to the voters. And then the judges, on paper, have one method of accountability as to the Congress through the impeachment clause, you know, for the federal judges. But in the past 100 years, of the hundreds, well, thousands in fact, federal judges, there have only been 7 removed in the past century. And most of those, you know, quit before they were impeached, and they got caught committing crimes, accepting bribes. It was pretty cut and dried. Just 7 in a century, over thousands of judges, and in the whole history of the nation, only 2 of the 45 presidents have been impeached, neither of which were removed by impeachment, and only 1 quit under the threat of impeachment. So statistically, there's no real accountability for the judges. The progressives in Congress like their activist judges, so to get a 2/3 vote to remove one of them, not going to happen. All right, so term limits for congressmen. Of the proposal I wrote and the proposals others have written and are backing, the amount of these terms is the thing that's, you know, there's a little scale there. And the middle ground of what's been proposed today that I've seen and, you know, read about would be 12 years of service in Congress regardless. 12 years in the House, 12 years in the Senate, or 12 years in aggregate. An individual serving 12 years in Congress is done. That'd be 2 terms in the Senate, or 6 terms in the House, or some combination thereof that equals 12. And they are done for life. That's the term limit thing that I think would be very beneficial for our country and that I'm advocating for. The performance review for the judges, I've read about term limits for judges, but that does not solve the problem of having to put up with a jihadi judge for however long the term is. A performance criteria, if they step outside their constitutional authority, which is the law constitutional? Yes or no? Is the constitutional law being complied with as written? Yes or no? Judges have no authority to legislate from the bench, to modify or massage a law to make it read what they want it to say. So if a judge, whether it's a district court, appellate judges, or Supreme Court, I've written in my contract with America 2020 my thoughts on this, these performance criteria. But if these federal court judges step outside their constitutional authority, then they're off the bench. 0 tolerance, 1 strike, and they are out, and that decision is nullified. So performance-based criteria for the judges, term limits for Congress, then you've got redundancy then. You've got term limits will ensure that absolute power doesn't accrue and therefore can corrupt. And they're still accountable to the people, and then these judges will be accountable not only to Congress, which is really not accountable, but will be accountable to we the people through a constitutional amendment to perform their duties as prescribed under the Constitution. Let's give that a try. I think we can really do some good for our republic if we can come together and get those initiatives done.